Yeah, yeah, it is. It's a Tuesday evening. It's been, let's see, 1, 2, 3. It's been a few days, maybe 3, 4 days since I've done my last STP, stirring the pot. Love that name. And this, and I know I don't seem very excited. That's going to change in a second.
Okay.
Boys and girls, I don't know what I'm in for. We've never met our guest, and I'm going to intro real quick in a minute. But the name, wait till you get the name. And I don't know what we're in for. So, with that being said, this is Stir the Pot with Don Kincaid and my very special guest. Are you ready for this, boys and girls? Princess Deathwish. Are you shitting me? I mean, welcome to the show, my friend.
Hi.
Wow. I've been waiting to intro you all day long. I know it might have been underwhelming, but I am telling you, your name has just totally, I only have one brain cell, and it's overloaded with your name, but we're going to get into that in a little bit. I wanted to, first off, welcome to the show. I appreciate you taking the time, hanging out with us, the fans, because this isn't my show, my friend. I know we've never met, so Stirring the Pot is for the fans to learn about the talent and meeting new talent, just as we are right now on the fly, boys and girls we're making new friends right now. But we're gonna tell you how we met Princess Deathwish. But again, welcome to the show. I appreciate your time, sir.
Hi, thank you for having me. This was unexpected. I just met you last week randomly because I was at Steve's house, at the creator's house. Here I am.
Talk about a creative MFer. One
He
Stephen
is.
Baker. Holy shit! Is he not creative or what?
Yeah, he is the type of guy who gets an idea, and if he's passionate about it, he's gonna go all out for it. Like I saw King Leon, and then I saw the creator, and he's hilarious when he plays Among Us. He's very creative when he plays Among Us. He's just a all around very passionate guy about his skill set.
Yeah. His arts, if you will, because
Yeah,
I know him. We know him as a wrestler, but he's been dabbling because I like to call it
the vid.
the King COVID. Do you see what I did there? The King COVID. Never mind. During the time, people have been finding different things to do, and his arts, his creative mind has been spinning. So he's been doing some Pokemon stuff, if you will, these little globes. If
I got something from him too, actually.
yeah, a hot item.
Yeah.
He's painted. I mean, the guy does all sorts of different stuff. And I know this is about Princess Deathwish, but
Right.
this is a great start because the common denominator being Stephen Baker and how we met. We're gonna dive into that for a second, but I just wanted to kiss his ass a little bit more. Now, the creativity that comes out of that guy is uncanny. But boys and girls, Stirring the Pot, or the Kincaid Files itself, the YouTube channel celebrated 6,000 subscribers, which I don't know how you guys and girls stomach me. 6,000? Really? I mean, come on. The love is there. That's unbelievable. But Mr. Baker had an idea he wanted to throw me. He goes, hey, let's celebrate 6K. I'm going to do a game show theme. That's all he told me. That was it. That's the only information that I got personally. And he goes, you get the bodies. I got everything else, the game, the rules, and all of that. I'm like, all right, let's do this. So whenever do I call you Mr. Princess or Mr. Deathwish, or how do we Mr. Deathwish?
Uh,
I like Mr. Deathwish.
Mr.
Is that okay?
Deathwish is just fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Now Mr. Deathwish, he brought to the table a prop mic. He dressed very well,
He
and
did.
he had 3 different games, 3 different rounds, and was an elimination style. And we played it with wrestling talents on our local scene. And not only that, we got a special bonus. He told me the day of, I've got my Vanna too. Wait until you see this shit. And I go, of your Vanna? He goes, yeah, my Vanna White. He goes, it's really not Vanna White, but you're going to love this. And it ended up being Princess Deathwish.
Yeah.
You kick the people off because I don't know how to kick people off of Skype, and I'd feel like a jackass if I did. So, and I said, if you could make your way off, but I didn't have to do that because boys and
I was
girls,
there. I was there.
when somebody got eliminated,
I told them to fuck off.
yes.
What's so funny about that is I knew nobody. It could have been a vet. It could have been someone who's been wrestling for 20 years. I didn't know this person. I don't know these people. All I know is that I got on and I was a dick. I was just like, get the fuck off the phone call. Now, no one wants you here. You lost the fucking game. Get the fuck off. And it's just kind of one of those things that I always do where I'm just like, well, I'm doing this 100% with no fear.
That you did, and I applaud you. Very well done. Very, very, very well done. You said something on the old Twitter, and I said these words. You were perfect because and that's full legit, no bullshit. You played that part. You came in, like you said, you took that part. You didn't know a damn soul. The only soul you really knew was Mr. Baker, and you only knew him through video game.
What's funny is I saw Steve Legend on last Thursday in Rhode Island. And I was just like, oh, hey, sorry I bodied you.
Oh my goodness. That's that little circle where, you never know. The world is very much smaller than we realize.
Right.
So yeah, you question his legend status. He said, everything makes me a legend. And you gave him, you're a loser. Get the fuck out of here. Hit the fucking red button.
You're such a legend. Why the fuck did you lose?
Again, well played, my friend. Perfect.
And I gotta say, as entertaining as the game itself was, seeing the creator, get ready for said game was fucking great. Like, I wish you were there. It was just him getting ready for the boards, just putting shit in. He's like, hey, Adam, because that's my real first name. He's just like, hey, Adam, look, there's this thing that they just have to flatter me. And I'm just like, oh my God. he's sitting there. He's so passionate about what he does. And he makes sure that it goes over well.
Yeah, and because again, I knew zero information. All I had was it's going to be a game show theme. I didn't tell any of the talent that came on, which is what we like to do, is surprises and stuff,
Right.
But I'll tell you, but I'll tell you what you just touched upon. He must have been like a kid on Christmas because he just, like you said, he just dives into when he gets into it, he's so passionate. The word is perfect, passionate. But I can just envision him getting ready with this microphone that he made and getting dressed in
that was last second as fuck, by the way. He's just like, I gotta find some microphone. I gotta find a prop. He's just running around his house looking for something to use.
The love that he showed, the love that he showed stirring the pot and the Kincaid Files making 6,000 subscribers on the old YouTube.
Yeah.
I can never thank that man enough for the time, the effort. And I know I thanked him a bunch of times, but the creativity and everything that he brought to the table that day, he totally made that show. That was all one Steve Baker, along with his Vanna. Again, very well played.
Yeah, no, if he does it again, I'm just going to join the Skype calls to kick people off the calls. Like, that's just my thing. That's my favorite thing. I'm going to clip your show and put it on TikTok, too, with the subtitles. Get the fuck off the Skype call.
Good times, my friend. These are the things, without going to wrestling, these are the things that we bring to the table to have fun with our wrestling friends that we've made over the course. You've met Mr. Baker, and we're going to talk about this right now and then move on to Princess Darkness because I'm wearing this specific shirt for a very specific reason. Okay. You met Mr. Baker through Among Us. Is that correct? Because, hey, I pay attention. And I saw Mr. Baker's positive podcast, and you were his special guest. And I paid attention. I listened, and I'm going to pick a few of the details out.
Sure.
You guys have met on Among Us. This is correct, yes?
Yeah. So, the vid hit, and, everyone, Among Us blew up. the game had been around for what, 3 years, and it just blew up for everyone because it was the first real game where we actually got to interact with each other as human beings. It felt like, and I'd already made friends, or I was already in a group. It was a pretty toxic group. Um, I was getting really bummed out in it, and me and another wrestler from Toronto, we were getting pretty fed up, and we were pretty much leaving the group. The creator joined said Discord group for Among Us. These are groups just made to play with each other and stuff, and he brought a very positive vibe. And so the first time we played with him, it was quite possibly just the funnest we had had in a long time. We had a good core group of 10 people who were just positive and uplifting and hilarious, and we would take healthy roasts at each other, and it's just how it should be, how a group of friends should be.
Yeah.
And since then, it's been a pretty great ride. Our group itself, how our Discord right now, our group itself has gone through some pretty crappy things. And as a group, we've been there for each other. And I don't think the group would have been as positive or as uplifting without the creator. I'm a toxic person, so I would have probably surrounded myself around toxic friends. But the creator brought this positivity in our group, in our Discord group, that just carries over, and it's infectious. And now we have a small community that's growing every day. For whatever reason, it's still growing, um, but a very uplifting, positive, fun group that we've created because we needed it. It just kind of happened. We don't focus as much on Among Us anymore. We just kind of play whatever we want. Uh, but it's nice to have this community with someone like Steve and some of the other people that are on there.
Nice. Because we all need our escapes, if you will.
Yeah.
For me personally, to get away from the bullshit,
Right.
the home life or the bills or whatever, we go to wrestling as a fan.
Right.
You guys and girls, as I've done these interviews, I learned the same thing. You get away from your shoot job and some of the shit in your life.
It's absolutely true.
You go to wrestling and you perform for
Yeah.
us, and we're there for you. I call it this dance that we have, this relationship between fan and wrestler.
Yeah.
I'm not a dancer. You would not want boys and girls, you do not want to see that shit. Let me tell you. I'm built like a candle, and I don't have an ounce of fucking rhythm. The only time I can really get it going is when I have my guitar in my hand and I'm live on stage. That's when I'm good. Other than that,
there's always an escape, and for wrestling, it's always a performance. When I started doing Among Us, I started Twitch streaming because to me, it's one of the greatest things you could do. It's a performance. You have to manipulate 9 other people and convince them that you're not a killer, or you play detective and you're playing a good guy, and now what you're doing is trying to out the killer.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is a performance piece, which is why I started streaming on Twitch, because Among Us brings this. If you grew up watching Yu-Gi-Oh and you realize that they play the card game with these monologues and they point at each other and stuff like that, you can't really do that in real life Yu-Gi-Oh. Among Us is that. Among Us is monologues towards each other, yelling at each other, getting each other, trying to figure out who the fuck is lying. But despite the toxic behaviors, it has brought a big positivity in my life, a real escape, because December was a really dark time for me. And leading up to it, I've had a few dark months, and just coming out of that with guys like Carter Mason, who's the other guy I keep talking about. Carter Mason, the creator. We have Viper from Oklahoma, who's a referee who just works really hard at his craft, and just having a community like that is really helpful. It's a weird transition for me right now because I am wrestling more, I am traveling more, so it's nice to still have them on my phone, but I'm starting to kind of balance having a community and wrestling again.
It's a hard balance when,
yeah,
with all of the wrestling coming back
right,
as quickly as it is.
it is.
I can't imagine how all of you guys and girls' lives are actually changing by the days, because now all of a sudden more promotions are starting to run. Not every single one are, but most are starting to run all across the globe in different ways, in their own way, if you will, to whatever regulations are going on in said state or said country. So I see all of this work coming on for you boys and girls. So it was almost like we're doing this thing every single week and every single week and every single, holy shit, the world has turned upside down. We're doing nothing. We're doing nothing. We're doing nothing. I want to do a podcast. I want to play video games. I want to start maybe doing graphics. I want to do this. I want to do that. Then all of a sudden it's like, knock, 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 knock. Hi, it's wrestling. Oh, shit. Now everybody's starting
the
to
world
get
kind of
again.
exploded. And throughout that time, I started modeling again. I started acting again. I should be in High School Musical, the series, at some point this month. So if someone sees me and wants to screenshot me, let me know. I become an official Disney princess, is what I like saying.
Oh, wow. Congratulations on that. But that's what we talk. But that's what I'm talking about. This downtime. Well, I guess it was just an odd time, not downtime.
Yeah,
but
I just started doing everything. I started rapping again. Like it became just, what do I do with all this creative energy that I have? What do I do with it? And these are things I've put off over and over and over again because of wrestling, because wrestling was my number one priority. So a lot of what I'm doing now is stuff that I hadn't been doing before because I would be off on the road every weekend. So now trying to bring back wrestling into the dynamic, it's still a priority for me. I'm wrestling every weekend now. I'll take once in a while. I'll take, like, this weekend I'm not wrestling. I turned down like 3 bookings. I'm just like, I'm not going to do anything this weekend. I'm going to chill this weekend. So just kind of the balancing act of still now developing all these other gigs that I can do. Twitch streaming, the community, the modeling, the acting, but now pro wrestling again and writing music, and just it's become something I've always wanted, but at the same time I'm like trying to juggle all these things at once. It's fun. It's a good time right now.
I'm more of a rocker. You seem your look, it seems to be more of a rocker. I gave you maybe a scowly face, if you will, when you said getting back into rapping or Princess DJ Princess Dark Deathwish, or where are we at here?
So I decided to rename, because I used to be Ray's Vision. That used to be like a gimmick, like when I started 13 years ago, and then I decided that would be my rap name. It never did anything. Nothing ever happened. I wrote like 3 songs, put them out there, 4 songs, put them all back in private, started re-releasing things again. And now I decided to keep the Princess Deathwish moniker because of the music that I've had put out there. So the reason I say that is I did a song on Lavender Town Syndrome. It was the Pokemon creepypasta, the rumor where a bunch of Japanese kids committed suicide over a song in the video game. I did a song about that. I did a song about battle royales. So Battle Royale, the movie, I reimagined myself as the antagonist from that movie, killing off other kids. And just the topics of my music kind of just seems in line with my gimmick. So I decided to just keep Princess Deathwish as just something that I could do straight across the board.
Nice. We'll ask you at the tail end of this interview, but where can we find such audio or video?
If you go to Spotify and look for Princess Deathwish, that's really it. I do have an all links that I'll send you after this, where it has all 9 of my links, including a schedule, including my YouTube channel, including my OnlyFans. Yes, I have one of those. PG-13, nothing crazy. They're just a bunch of promo pictures I've done as the princess. I did like a Saw photo shoot too. So like, I still do that. They all pretty much still fall in line with what Princess Deathwish is. So that was another outlet I decided to do. My Instagram will be on there. Pretty much everything all in one link.
Sweet. I was gonna start an OnlyFans page. So what I did as a joke was, hey, I started my OnlyFans page. Here's my first posting, and it was Mr. Burns from The Simpsons naked.
Oh my god. That's
That's
fucking
pretty
great.
much me. Yeah, that's pretty much me naked anyway. So it's no different. Now I want to lead up to why I'm wearing this shirt, and
Oh
then
yeah.
once we get to that point, I'm gonna revert back because again, I don't write a damn thing down. I don't look a fucking
Right, right,
thing
right.
up. So we just go wherever we want to go.
That's fine.
So you hook up with Mr. Baker within Among Us, and then you guys
Yes.
start chit chatting. You guys are
Yes.
obviously both wrestlers,
Yes.
and then you say, "There's a company that I probably would like to really get off my bucket list, being XWA," and I'm
Yeah.
assuming that Mr. Baker's like, "Hey, I know a guy. That's me." And you guys hooked up. And not only that, not only did he get you on the card for an XWA Event Center in West Warwick is such an amazing joint, man. What a
It
great
is. I had
setup.
a lot of fun.
You walk in the door and it's a ready-made setup. I love
Yeah.
everything about it. And not only that, but the guys behind the scene, great guys, Mr. Perez and Mr. Antonucci there. But not only do you get on the card, but as I saw again, because I love to I love to follow Mr. Baker. I saw that him and yourself had a match at the
Yes.
Throwdown.
Yeah.
Uh, and not only that, uh, I'm sorry for bringing this up. Not only that, my man gave you a black hole slam to hell.
Oh no,
Uh,
he put me through that fucking ring.
yeah,
I got
that was
so
pretty.
much height in that. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. You know what's
I
funny
love.
is as a backyard wrestler, my favorite finish that like the first finisher I ever took was a black hole slam.
Oh wow.
Like that's always been I don't know, for whatever reason that move follows me around.
Huh. But I will say, you
Mhm.
did mention how the height. My
Oh
man,
yeah.
Mr. Baker, can really scoop it up and make it
Yeah.
look really fantastic.
That torque. Oh my gosh. Like I've never taken one like his. Like yeah, that move's followed me around. I've taken it from Relic. I've taken it from a bunch of bigger guys down here out west, but never have I taken one like his. It was fantastic.
Yes, always makes it look amazing. Now, you've said that you've seen the King Leon stuff, King Leon
Yeah,
the Sixth.
I
Now,
did.
I like to bust his ass just a smidge and call him King Leon the Seventh. It really digs him. And
Okay.
then not only that, he transitioned into King Leon the Black Blade, very
Mhm.
much darker, very
Yeah,
more serious, if you
right.
will, to where he was previously. But not that. Mr. Leon did not stop there. If you're not happy with what's going on, you have to make the changes and you want to be comfortable with what you're doing as an art. So he really wasn't comfortable with the whole King thing, and he just went Leon.
Right.
I gotta say, it's a change for us fans to see him doing what he's doing at this point, but digging what he's got going on. And he's even swearing with a potty mouth on the old medias. That threw me as a fan. I mean, Mr. Potty Mouth himself, Leon over there,
I've
really.
always known him as a potty mouth, so I don't have to experience that awkward transition you're going through.
Well, not on the media specifically, but
Mhm.
now he's actually MFing people. I'm like, whoa, Mr. Leon, wow, getting aggressive over here. But I dig what he's got going on, and like you're talking about the balance. He's trying to balance what he was doing previously to what he wants to do, trying to take the serious approach, but maybe sprinkle in a little bit of the comic portion of it. How deep and where it's going to go, we just have to watch. But I really dig what he's got going on.
Right.
Um, so your take on XWA, the XWA Event Center.
It was pretty fun. At this point, it was definitely again. I've talked about it with Steve. It was something that was on my wish list, just fucking wrestling bucket list. That was one of the places because I broke into backyard wrestling. Broke into it's not that hard to just go into a backyard and wrestle, and we were part of this big community of backyard wrestlers. XWA wasn't a backyard company. I want to clarify because that wasn't the case back then. It's not the case now. It's just that there was a talented group of kids in New York who were given the opportunity to wrestle in the ring, and they blew it out of the park. They had great matches at XWA, and they were trained really well. They just They preferred to do their art in a park in the middle of New York. So since then, it was just always something that was on my bucket list. Like, hey, I actually do want to go up there one day. We're playing Among Us. He mentioned that he was going up there. I'm like, hey, hey, I want to go, and it just kind of happened from there.
Yeah. Now, within the XWA Center, Event Center, you notice when you walk in the door on the far wall, they have the Wall of Champions. And look, I'm getting the goosebumps right now because I can
Right.
envision it, right? I can envision it
Yeah.
just like I went there last
That was
night.
the first thing I noticed.
Isn't that amazing? I love how they do that because you get to see the tale of the history of the champions, and some you may know, most you do recognize, some you may not know.
Yeah,
But
I
just
got like
looking up
80% of it.
yeah, just when you walk in there and you see those big ass pictures of the former champions, it's just and the now champion. It's just like wow, that's pretty effing cool. I really dig that wall.
Well, we always talk about how nowadays everyone knows that the title itself is used as some sort of prop. And to see XWA just put their champions on their wall, putting meaning in, behind the title, just showing, hey, this is important. This is
Mhm.
still important. The
Yeah.
title is still important. You want your big ass picture. You want to be a part of our history, what we do. And you got to work hard for it and get there. And I thought that was pretty neat.
It definitely is, and if you can remember some of those pictures, we've been seeing them on TV for a while
Yeah.
already. Some have just got onto maybe just getting onto that Raw or SmackDown roster in the past 6 months or so. The names that have gone through XW that I've seen personally, amazing. Their in-house talent when they mold their students. They have fine students that have come out of there. American Sumo, Mike Gamble, love that guy to pieces. We're seeing new guys like Waves and Curls, Trayvon and Jalen. I mean, those two guys, they light up a room as soon as their music hits. The crowd, Mr. Deathwish. I always want to call you Darkness for some reason, Mr. Deathwish. When Waves and Curls, when their music hits, the entire building, and I do not shit you, the entire building almost actually, when they say the roof, raise the roof, these guys, just these two guys and their music, they walk in and the place erupts every single time, no matter where they go. I don't know how they're doing this, but they make it happen. And my props to those kids. But my point being is XWA really does make some fine talent in-house at the Kingdom, what they call the Kingdom facility over there, ran right now by Vinny Marsalia from ROH. He's their head trainer over there. So
Right.
always producing fine talent out of there. So I want to move on because we've talked a lot about Mr. Baker, how you got to XWA in this area, and how we actually met the game show. I'll never forget it. I'm still playing clips to the guys at work. They're fucking cracking up. Whenever I go, you got to check out Vanna. Whenever I showed my boss Vanna for the first time kicking somebody off, he goes, I love that kid. I just have a lot of fun. And that game show will always have a little piece of my heart because it was very special.
That's really
Everybody
fun.
wanting to get together to celebrate, just a dude in his phone having fun, Mr. Deathwish.
Absolutely.
That's all
Yeah.
I am. I'm a dude with a phone that goes to shows and has a lot of fun.
Yeah, no,
Um,
and we talked about you after, and he was just putting you over about what you do, about
oh,
what you do about with the community. I think that's fantastic, because it's with everything going on with like people who aren't being credited for their work, um, we forget, who puts us on these pedestals, on these platforms. It's people like you. I met someone, King of Log Style, out in San Jose. He's always putting stuff out there. I think it's Wrestling with Unicorns, an Instagram page that posts wrestling clips.
all the time.
These clips, these videos, these vlogs, they're out there, and they're out there because of these people. When, because we put effort into ourselves, we put ourselves out there, but it always helps when someone else with a bigger audience puts us out there so that we can be seen by more people. And I think that's very commendable and very important in this world of ours.
I thank you for those kind words. And to anybody that's doing it, may it be a pod or just like you said, Wrestling with Unicorns. My goodness, they share some really cool shit on that their
They share
IG.
some good shit, and it's just the dude with a
Yeah,
camera. Like,
yeah.
how amazing! He built his own audience. He's like, hey, I'm very passionate about wrestling. Here's some
Mhm.
cool spots I seen. I want to share it with everyone, and he does. And I think that's very important in this world of ours. It's just word of mouth. That's how people become popular. That's how people
Yeah.
get signed. That's how word of mouth. Sure, there's a lot of hard work that goes into it. I don't want to take away anyone's hard
No,
work there, but it's good to
exactly.
have more eyes on you, a bigger audience.
It is for a couple things on that topic you just spoke of. You never know who's watching. When I first started
Right.
doing this stuff and sharing these little clips that I started doing some year, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, about 5-ish or so, maybe even 6 by now. Holy crap! Um, and when I started doing this stuff, there was a guy that got in my ear. He goes, "You never know who's watching this, even though you're not getting a like, you're not getting maybe a share. There's
Right.
people that are watching it that maybe in wrestling or a friend of theirs, or they say, hey, check this out. You never know because they're not going to say, hey, can I share this? Or some may, some might not, you know.
Right.
But there's a network that starts flowing around that you just don't know. And little by little, I found that out so much, how the talent appreciated anybody just doing a little tiny piece, taking time out of their day to share a clip of Princess Darkness. See, I did it again. Princess Deathwish, telling people to fuck off on stirring the pot.
I
You know,
love telling people to fuck off. That's what I do in the ring too. Like, my footwork is garbage, but I can tell anybody to fuck off.
but yeah, these are the things, the appreciation that the talent has given me, which I would have never expected, never would want. It just kind of comes because I do it for the love of wrestling, and then as I've met the talent over the time, you start making friendships
Right.
outside of the ring, and once that starts happening, they say you're not a fan anymore. You're like one of the brothers, and I'm like, but I'm a fan, and they're like, no, you're one of the brothers, and I
One of the
always try.
brothers.
I I try
Can't
to
you be
say
both?
my well, yes and no. There's a weird line when it comes to the brother fan. You know what I'm saying? And that's my point. I always try to stay my place, if
Right.
you will. You know what I'm saying? As a fan, I love all of the relationships I've ever made, and I would never change anything with anybody. But I always try to stay my place, if you will, as a fan. I don't want to cross that barrier. But there are times where I can go across that guardrail and maybe get in the locker room to do a promo, or somebody needs to speak with me for whatever specific reason or whatever. So I do get to cross that line at times. And oh, Mr. Deathwish, it just fills my heart. It really does. It absolutely does, because I've always talked about how wrestling has evolved over the course of so many years. And back then, when it was kind of starting to roll,
Right.
I don't care what you did, if you were a media guy or not, that motherfucker isn't coming back here. This is our locker room. Nobody comes back here. But it's kind of evolved just over time.
Right.
So I've always felt honored and privileged to be able to get back there when I can. But then I get guys like Chris Cannon that pick me up like a fucking puppy and kick my ass out of the locker room.
Oh my
So
gosh.
yeah, there are those times. I've been there. Verbally berated, it's crazy. I should have a medical card for PTSD. Okay,
Oh
I'm
my
just
gosh.
yeah, no, for real. But this isn't about me. Now, Princess Darkness. Gee, I did it again. Princess Deathwish. I don't know why it keeps slipping. Princess Deathwish. We have to talk about the evolution of character, because there's two things. I am positive that that wasn't your first gimmick. Second off, I'm sure that doesn't say that on your birth certificate. So please talk to us. And I don't want to do it in the old general way, like who were you trained by? When did you start? How long you been doing it? Why don't you talk to us about your first gimmick? Give us any information. Just talk to us, the fans, so we get to learn about you, because we've already learned plenty about Mr. Baker. And we've talked plenty about the XWA. So I want to take some time and really get to know Princess Darkness, because I love you for telling people to fuck off on my show. That was amazing. So give us some history. What was your first gimmick? And I hope it was something kooky, like when King
Oh my
was
God.
Christmas teacher. The
It wasn't
Christmas
my.
teacher.
I wouldn't say it was my first gimmick that ran on for a super long time. My first show, uh, they put me in the mask and we called me Mextasy.
Mextasy?
Mextasy. And that was just a one-time thing, but I love telling people that. He was only around for 40 seconds, got eliminated by someone by the name of Alex Brady,
Wow.
who retired for a while and is recently traveling with me to places.
Awesome. Can I just pause real quick before you continue?
Yeah.
I've been, and don't tell nobody, this is in total secrecy.
Okay.
This is between me and you, correct?
Sure.
Okay. I've worn a mask at one time. Okay. Yeah. And I was a masked wrestler. And his name was El Chupacabra.
Oh my gosh.
Tizai El Chupacabra. It was an amazing. Lots of fun under the mask. That was a lot of fun. So continue. I didn't mean to.
No, you're fine. So me and my friend Brad Landon broke in together. We backyard wrestled together. We broke in together. And then we started a tag team called Media Mayhem. Basically, we would come out to Kesha, be partiers, wore purple, wore bandanas, wore sunglasses. We were fucking cool. And I carried that on by myself. He became Canadian antagonist. I just continued partying on for a while. I started incorporating cosplay into my gear, just like a million other people. I had Pikachu gear at one point with like a tail. That was amazing. That was probably the busiest year of my life because people wanted to just book the gear. And then one of the most pivotal gimmicks I ever had, I was a part of a faction called No More Heroes. It started in like 2016, and it was just a bunch of bad guys. No more heroes. Beat up people. We hated heroes, and that's really where I developed a persona. I think I was already a character. I was already eccentric. I'm a fucking theater kid, and No More Heroes really took off for us. We won a shit ton of tag titles. We won singles titles, and one night. I'm in Seattle. I had won it was Combat Pro Wrestling in Seattle. I'd won a title, and I rolled out of the ring, and I had someone in the stable. He picked me up, and he just swung me around, and I was just in his arms doing this with the title. Yeah! And I posted on Facebook, and it was just like, I deserve to be carried like the princess I am. Just being funny. And the reason I made that joke is because just in all my circles, any locker room that I'm a part of, I'm a diva. I'm kind of a diva. And it wasn't long after where the Northwest fan base itself started calling me princess, just chanting it just to see. And I started embracing it.
Oh.
And so in the Northwest, I embraced it. I became Princess Adden. I was into it. It started slowly seeping into my other places. It started seeping in Reno, Cali, Vegas. Like it just started seeping into other places. And then finally.
But before you continue, that is 4 names. Are we up to, right? Like 4 gimmicks, if you will.
Kinda, yeah. Yeah, in a sense. I went through a lot of character changes. I didn't know what I was for a while. And then I found No More Heroes, and that's really where I began to thrive. And I could still do No More Heroes now as a princess. I can join with the group of guys, and it'll be just like old times, but I'll just be a princess. And that's kind of what I was doing anyways. But then in Salt Lake City, I was feuding with the girls. It was UCW 0. There was a women's division. I started feuding with them. And the basis of the feud was, none of you are good enough to be my daughter's role model. And And so I started feuding with them. I won the women's title. I'm like, this is my title. I was still just doing Ad and Reyes. I wasn't anything else.
Okay.
Finally, I had a psych break, and I was like, what's a better role model for my daughter? A princess. And I'm her role model, which means I'm gonna be a princess. And that's really where it took off.
Okay.
And give me 1 second. I'm distracted by something.
Oh, that's quite all right.
All right.
Did
All right.
Mr.
So
Did
yeah. So
Mr.
so
Baker send you some nudes? Is that what just happened?
no.
Oh, okay.
Um, I got distracted.
Oh,
By
no
my other
problem. No problem.
laptop here. It
No
does.
problem.
It is Discord related. Anyways. So sorry.
That's okay.
um.
That's okay.
So what ended up happening is I got in a ladder match up at Cascade Championship Wrestling in Spokane, Washington. I was climbing the ladder. I was trying to get the belt. There were Legos everywhere because I'm a fan of using Legos in my matches.
Oh
And
wow.
I get to the tip top. I grab the title. My opponent Jay Manson grabs me in a power bomb position. When he slams me, my foot catches on to the belt rung, and
Oh,
it follows me. And then next thing I know, I have to get 11 stitches on my head.
oh man.
And a friend of mine, her name's Jess. She had stated, "Hey, you're Princess Deathwish," and it stuck. Like it stayed with me, and since then, before COVID, I was wrestling constantly. I was really busy right before COVID. I was at my lightest I'd ever been, best shape I'd ever been. I was just on fire. COVID hit, and then finally, like throughout that time frame, I was like, Princess Deathwish has got to be it. The biggest reason for the change is just because I did like the darker tone that it insinuated.
Mhm.
Um, I did like the idea of walking around with a death note because I come out with a death note. I show everyone what my opponent's name is in the death note as if I'm trying to kill them. I'm trying to kill their spirit. I'm trying to kill who they
Oh
are
wow.
in
Oh
the
no good.
ring. I want
Wow.
to kill them. Obviously not literally, but the sense is I want to kill you. When I'm in the
You
ring, I want to win, and if I need to kill you, I will.
you had one made for Mr. Baker?
I just wrote his name in it,
Okay.
and we are going through a transition where we're getting it called Deathwish, and I like that better. But I'm gonna come out with a notebook. It says Deathwish on it. I write people's names in it, and I just go out there and wrestle, and I tell people to fuck off. I wear great makeup. I wear gear that's not really gear. It's just leggings. I love leggings, by the way. That transition from I've spent hundreds upon hundreds on wrestling gear. So making a transition where I just buy $10 leggings at Ross and they look fucking fantastic and feel fucking great. Yeah, I'd rather do that.
uh, my man says, "Fuck the dumb shit. I'm going this way."
Yeah, no,
Um,
it was definitely one of my favorite transitions. I think this one's going to be a while before any changes are made. I think I
I
think for me, I think I
yeah.
found I think I found what I'm looking for because even though you know, I'm wrestling every weekend, I'm getting more so busy than I ever have before,
Mhm.
and I'm getting contacted a lot more than before, which
Oh,
is
cool.
which is pretty great. And Deathwish is diverse. A lot of people want that in a hardcore match, and
Oh,
I've
wow.
been getting more of those recently, and I think it's fantastic to be able to find a new audience because I've never been a hardcore worker or deathmatch worker, and now those things are being introduced to me, and it's like falling in love with wrestling again. It's finding a new audience.
Mhm.
It's exploring a new world. The same way when I started wrestling, it's just Princess Deathwish has been kind of a blessing in that sense, where it's refreshed how I felt when I first started.
Mhm. So you kind of answered that already because I was going to ask you. You have gone through some, look. The way you present yourself has changed
Mhm.
along with your names, your gimmicks, if you will. So right now, could we say I used the word comfortable with a wrestler before, and they were like, it's more confidence. Do you feel more this is your most confident time in your career as Princess Deathwish?
Yes and no. Only because when I was doing the cosplay gimmick and I had the Pikachu gear, I was the busiest I'd ever been. I had some of the best storylines I'd ever had in a couple places. And then I get No More Heroes, and there's that groove. I had probably the best matches in my career as No More Heroes, and be hanging out with my friends and getting into this groove. And then I'm doing it again now, where I found another confidence. I found another groove, and I'm having fun matches, and I'm having a great time with this character.
Cool.
I wouldn't say it's like the prime or anything. I would say every gimmick has had its groove. Me and that was another thing that me and Creator talked about while I was up there, is we always find these grooves where we're confident in our ability, we're confident in how we look, we're confident in what we're doing, and all we want to do is perform and change things up and work harder every time and just have these very impactful, very fun matches with it. And that's where I am right now. Right now I have my groove. Right now I'm going through a groove. It might lull down and then pick right back up. That happens to all of us.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea right now is just to just keep feeding this train some coal so I can keep doing it. And I'm having a lot of fun right now. I'm booked a lot right now, which is always great. It's always great to have work. It's always great to stay busy.
I'm gonna pull out something you just said there. Very simple statement. I'm having a lot of fun right now. Um, Without that, and look at that beautiful smile. Without that, the art form you're trying to present or be part of, or working on your craft, your physical. We always talk about being physical when it comes to wrestling, but without that mental part being part of your physicality, it doesn't really work very well. And you can tell the fans, we can tell in your performance, in your finished product by the end of said match. So I'm having a lot of fun right now. Is absolutely perfect, and I'm applauding you because instead of walking away, being discouraged, being frustrated as a wrestler, it's very easy to be like, you know what? Fuck this dumb shit. I gave it a run,
I was
and I
close.
know,
I was
yeah.
close to that.
But see, that's what I'm talking about, though. And I'm getting goosebumps talking about that, my man. You did not. You stayed the course. You still felt that passion to where you're like, I'm going to get over that hump and I'm going to continue with my career. It may not be where I was before. I'm going to change it up a little bit. Let's figure that out. But when I do, I think I'm going to have some fun. And right where you're at right now, see that beautiful smile? There it is again. You're having fun. You're traveling. You're getting bookings, like you're saying. You're getting contacts and stuff. Do you connect with the fans as a wrestler? Because not everybody can walk through that curtain and connect with the crowd or the fans. Where are you at this point? First off, how long have you been in the biz? Because I know we've talked about your character status here, where it started and where you're at. But how long are we talking in the biz? And you use the word backyard. Take the word backyard out.
Oh my gosh.
When did
I
you
took
start
my
wrestling?
first bump. Took my first bump, I believe, when I was 16.
Oh, wow.
I'm 30 now. So it's been 14 years, if you want to count all that in there.
I don't mind that. Some will
For
just
me, it's a hard one because I feel like my first few years were wasted in wrestling just because I was doing battle royals. I wasn't really in a groove. My footwork was garbage. My psychology was even worse. Whereas now I'm more comfortable. I mean, my footwork's still garbage, but everything else is fantastic. So when we talk about how comfortable I am with the fans, I am never afraid of getting the crowd into it. I'm not. Thursday, I got told, "Hey, they're a tough crowd sometimes." Baker told me that, and I'm like, "Okay." And I didn't give a shit. I was just out there. I was myself. They hated me. That was the point. I wrestled in the Lucha show Sunday. I wrestled in Florida last Friday, right after that, Saturday, I was in the whole other city. Like, I'm not afraid of being able to connect with a crowd. I'm really confident in that. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just because the theater kid in me loves to perform. I love attention, and I think that's honestly what it is. I love the shit out of attention. I am a clout chaser. I want all eyes on me. I'm selfish in that sense. And so for me, getting connected with the crowd is not a problem. I love making people angry, and if I have to, I love getting people behind me, which I had to do 3 times last weekend. um, so that's the point. The point is to connect with the crowd. The show is for you.
Yeah.
The show is for the people who are paying to come in. The wrestling is for you, not for me. At the end of the day, yeah, I want to have fun matches. I do things for myself sometimes because I'm selfish. But at the end of the day, every move we take, every move we give, every time we do something, it's for the people who are paying to come see a show. And so in return, I get to have fun. And I love that word because I haven't used it very often in the last couple of years. I get to have fun. I get to connect with that crowd. There's always a great feeling inside me when you've pissed everyone off, the good guy beats you, and everyone explodes. I love that feeling. I love that I did that. That's my job.
Now, we've listened to the history of your characters, and right in between, you've mentioned Pikachu more than once.
Yeah.
Now, you like to piss people off. When you're Pikachu,
Yeah.
are you working heel? Because how does that work if you are? Okay.
So, I mean, I was still heel in some places, which I never had a problem being heel. I was just more so heel afterwards. Pikachu was always over, for the most part. There were some places where it made sense, like at a biker bar show, it made sense to wear Pikachu gear. Why? They're not in for the cutesy shit. So being a good guy was good times. There was a transition there because I wrestled in Mexico at that point. My daughter was born. I was in Canada when that happened. I went home 2 days later. I'm in fucking North Carolina for an AIWF show, and then the following week I went to Mexico. And it was this time frame where I was just really expanding as a performer, and I was really understanding what psychology is and what connecting with the crowd is. And Pikachu gear really helped me with that in a sense, but it also helped me evolve from that. It helped me get past that and give me confidence to know that I didn't need that gear. I didn't need anything other than me to get myself over where I needed to be.
That's a confidence level you have to be totally in on, because if it doesn't work out when you say, you know what, this Pikachu thing had some fun, the crowd was digging it, but I'm feeling a different vibe. And if it doesn't, and these are the things we were talking about earlier, if it doesn't work out, those are the things that really bring you down. And you're like, fuck, what did I just do? I had something going on and I tried to change it up, but it didn't really work out. What the fuck do I do now, kind of thing, you know?
Right.
But taking those chances, though, like we've been discussing throughout the interview, that confidence level, for a performer, without it, you're done.
Yeah.
You need a confidence level. Now, if you were to classify yourself as a style, I like to kind of pull this out of wrestlers, hybrid, lucha. Where were you at with Princess Deathwish?
I think I can do anything, honestly. And again, I like digging at myself that my footwork is garbage. But when I get in there and I chain, I chain. When I get in there and pander, I pander. When I get put in a hardcore match, I go all in. If I'm in an athletic competition where it's 20 minutes and it's just trying to this giant chess game of who hits the better move to finally put the other guy down, I can do that. What I pride myself on is I can wrestle anybody and have a fun match. I can wrestle the most inexperienced, and I can wrestle the most technical wrestler. I can wrestle the most experienced. I can wrestle Mike Knox, who's a fucking giant, and I had one of the funnest matches of my life. But I can also wrestle a lightweight, someone like Rook Kelly out here. Uh, so for me, that's the fun part. The funnest part about wrestling for me is not just the crowd, but being able to adapt from opponent to opponent. Last week was great in that sense. I had 4 different matches in 4 different cities. Both sets of matches were on the opposite sides of the country, where none of the audience knows each other, but I'm able to get them to react. And I wrestled to very different people every time. I wrestled in a death match a couple weeks ago, only for the next day to wrestle someone in a very basic American match. That's what I like to do.
I applaud you for the adapting from scenario to scenario. I find that's very professional in your craft. But I want to dive into the hardcore art form of wrestling, because we speak about the many art forms of wrestling,
Right.
and hardcore and deathmatch do come up on this show because I do know some crazy motherfuckers. What? Now you said you've never really dove into that portion of the program, if you will, and now you're starting to get into the death matches and the hardcores, and you're starting to feel it a little bit.
Right.
What makes a guy who's been running traditional matches with none of, and I know you've been in ladders and all of that, and I know there's specialty matches, but when we talk about hardcore, and when you talk about, and then you up the ante even a little bit more, and we talk deathmatch, there's no way to prepare for this stuff.
I like using the gateway drug metaphor, and the reason for that is because I'll get 2 or 3 hardcore matches a year because I wrestle for so many people. Eventually, you're gonna have to do one, and it's just kind of a gateway drug. I like ladder matches, so much fun. And then chairs, that's fun. I used to do fire for like a year, like that was fun. And then I started incorporating Legos whenever I had a hardcore match. That was fun. And then I wrestled JD Mason out in Seattle on a drowning pool show. And he's like, you know what we need? A cage. You know what else we need? Thumbtacks. I was like, oh, I've never done thumbtacks. We did thumbtacks. And it's a gateway drug. You just kind of do one thing and you're just like, what else can my body handle?
They say it takes years off of your career.
Yeah, and I know any of this does.
Yeah, and I know you can't say right now, oh yeah, it definitely took at least 2 or 3 years, but down the road, you're gonna feel it.
Yeah.
You're definitely gonna be
no,
feeling
definitely.
it.
I'm regretting. I got body slammed on barbed wire and a metal bat. Like I'm regretting that now. Like I can't imagine what it's gonna feel like in a few years.
When you bring and incorporate Legos into a match, they say that's some of the worst shit alive. Does your opponent or anybody else in the ring be like, you motherfucker, you brought Legos?
All the time. And I have to do this every time I bring Legos, I have to do it this way. I put them in a baggie, I tighten up the baggie, and then I use it as a weapon. That explosion is so aesthetically satisfying to me, and it's probably painful to the other person I'm doing it to because it's a bam. But it's one of my. It's like getting into a fresh new car or opening a bag of chips.
Isn't it a beautiful smell?
I love it.
When you, see, we're on the same wavelengths on that. I am telling you, not on the Lego stuff, but on the potato chip stuff. I love, oh my God, one of my all-time favorite pastimes. Oh, yes. Continue with the Legos. I'm sorry. You got me.
No, you're fine. It's aesthetically pleasing to get the Legos out. And I don't know. I've gotten some weird reactions like, well, I don't want to do Legos, or, oh fuck, we're doing Legos.
Yeah.
It's
that's
fun.
usually what I would think it is. Fuck, we're doing Legos. This son of a bitch.
Right.
Now, the talent that I speak to on this show, I've never had the same answer twice, because it's either I'm kind of comfortable on the indie scene or doing what I'm doing now because of either my job, my family, or whatever you have going on in your life. But for others, the answer would be the big dub, WWE, Uncle Vince. That's been my goal since I started wrestling. Where does Princess Deathwish sit on? Are you taking your career to be on TV on those higher platforms of the ROHs and the WWEs and AEWs and the New Japans and stuff? Or are you comfortable on the independent scene doing what you're doing right now?
Honestly, I don't have a real answer for that.
Oh, wow.
I
That's the
think
first. That's the first.
honestly for me, I'm kind of just riding the wave right now, and I am working towards the goal of just looking better. Uh, Carter Mason is helping me a lot with how I look and where I'm going with the direction of my body. And of course, with that is going to come a new set of opportunities just because of the way I look, which is totally fine. So at that point, I just kind of run the ride the wave and see where it goes. Right now, wrestling every weekend and getting paid for it, I'm content. I get to come home, I get to spend time with my kids, I get to just live my life, and then on the weekends I get to go wrestle. So it's not that I'm not driven for that. It's just that right now I'm pretty comfortable where I am.
Nothing wrong with that. Like I said, everybody has what they have going on. Because wrestling is not the all for everyone to get to that higher platform and be at the big dub. So I can appreciate that answer. There's nothing.
Seeing my friends get there is one of my favorite things, though. I saw Marty the Moth get on AEW. I think he's losing the Moth.
Oh, okay. Hold the fucking phone. Have you seen my man Marty's transformation? Holy shit.
Yeah, he looks really fucking good right now.
He's jacked.
Yeah. I was really proud of him. He's been working hard. He streams every morning, his workouts and everything, so it's good to see. And now he's like DDP yoga all the time and stuff. Like this trip to Georgia has really hooked him up. But like seeing someone like him succeed and get on there after knowing him for years, knowing where he wanted to go, because it was a couple years ago where he's like, I really want to go to AEW. And he's done everything since to get there. He has worked his ass off to get there, and then for that to pay off in a sense now, like that's amazing to me. I love seeing my friends win. I love seeing my friends do things. And so eventually, we'll see what happens with me.
I name every single episode differently.
Yeah.
And I really thought it was going to be a kooky name to this one, seeing your name is Princess Deathwish.
Right.
But I just figured out the title of this. I love seeing my friends win. I absolutely love that message, my friend, because I love me some wrestling. I really do. I love it to different aspects. But over the course, learning the independent scene, seeing the chit chat, if you will, of some of the talent, it disheartens me to see that not everybody has that mindset of, I love to see my friends succeed, because everybody wants to see themselves succeed first. So some get that factor of, that motherfucker, I've been working for 5 years. How did he do this in 2 years? What the hell's going on? Where's my you know what I'm saying? So I have seen that. So I've seen
that bitterness too.
Yes. I appreciate that message.
But it's something you learn. Right place, right time. There's a reason people are there. There's a reason you're not. And I always appreciate when I know somebody get there. I think it's great. I think that's one of my favorite things these last couple of years, is seeing my friends do things, get there. Like one of the first people I saw make it somewhere was Jason Ayers, the referee in WWE. And he was one of the first people I saw make it, just from a community of indie wrestlers. I met him in Portland. We hung out, we talked all the time, and now he's in the E. And it was a trend that kept going after that. It was good to see people make it. It's good to see people like Bailey. I met in Reno. We worked a couple times, and she got signed. That was cool. And it just kept happening. Adam Pierce, I hung out with him a whole weekend in Alaska, and now he's doing the work that he's doing for them. And he worked his ass off before. He was already a name.
Oh yeah.
He was already a star, and then he got there. So meeting people who love wrestling as much as anyone else and seeing them do something to get there is always inspiring, and that's always fun for me to see. It's like, who's next? Who's going to get that rub next? Who am I going to see come back? Because, you know, there's an unfortunate side of getting fired, but then that's more opportunities for, you know, them to bring back to other guys and who haven't made it yet. So it's just a fun game of wrestling Scrabble. Or even Waldo. Like, let's see who's going to be on TV this week.
Yeah, because with AEW Dark, and now they've made an elevation or elevated. What elevation? Elevation or elevated? Elevated? I forget. But anywho, but when they originally brought that out, it was only like 3 matches, which they would showcase some of the indie talent with some of their talent.
Right.
And it was always pre-taped. You know, obviously it's still pre-taped, but it was a showcase, and Tony Schiavone would be doing it like in a studio, and then they would show the videos and stuff. But now we're talking 2+ hours, 15, 16, 17 matches.
It's
wow.
It's growing. Yeah. I mean, it's growing for a reason.
Insane. The indie scene, the independent, like you're saying, the independent people that we see on the regular Tuesday cycle now, and now Mondays, is just off the effing charts, because we are seeing so many from across the country, across the globe, that are coming on to the AEW Dark and Elevated scene.
Right.
Like you were saying, I love seeing all of these men and women succeed. This is just amazing for me. Some I do know personally. Some I have seen live, but we've never connected, you know? So, and then some I've seen that I've connected, maybe a promotion across the country or somewhere else. And I'm like, oh shit, that's blah, blah, blah. That's awesome. You know? So we as fans, we get super, super stoked, as much as you guys and girls like to see your friends get, no pun intended, elevated to another platform, another level, you know, in your career. And I know that just because you hit AEW Dark on a Tuesday or two doesn't mean your career is going to skyrocket into the stratosphere, but you would have never gotten there without your hard work, people seeing it. That's the thing. People seeing your stuff being shared on YouTube, Facebook, the IG, and all of these platforms. That is what gets these talent on there, along with their hard work, like you were saying before. It's a balance of both, because without the medias nowadays, you're screwed. You really are, because we don't see you visually. We need to see you. So you get these scouts for like an AEW or whatever that are seeing all of this stuff, and they start picking these people out, and it's just like, this is amazing. I love all of that. You know, really good stuff. Now, we've been talking for about an hour and 10 minutes. A fine conversation. I've called you Princess Darkness probably 8 times. You know, whenever, if we do meet each other in person, you can hit me, you can kick me, you can do whatever you want for that. I'll take it. It's okay.
It's better than what used to happen, so I'm not worried about it.
Is there anything that I haven't spoken to you about or asked you that you would like to bring to the table? Maybe talk to the fans, a little tidbit. Oh, I've got something for you before we let you go.
Okay.
You've been on the road quite a bit. You've been in the airways and such. You've been in the cars doing the drives. Please tell me, look at that beautiful smile. Please tell me that you could give us, the fans, before you go, a fun little story on the road, in the air, at the airport, at a bus station. Look at you. You're like, oh, shit. I don't know if I can tell that one, but I might be able to tell
this. There's so many. I have an old one that I really like.
Please share with us. We love these.
So I was on a Greyhound for a show towards Vegas, and there was just some person behind me just on the phone, like, you better keep my motherfucking name out of your mouth. He was escalated. He was angry at this person. You better keep my fucking name out of your mouth. He was just leaving this person a voicemail, hung up, called his girlfriend. He's like, I don't know why he's talking shit on me. This motherfucker better be keeping my name out of his mouth. He doesn't know who the fuck he's dealing with. Just going off. Calls the guy back. And this was 2 hours in. I didn't care. I don't think anyone cared. I was entertained. And then finally he just ends with, you better keep my name out of your mouth. I don't care if you're my dad.
Oh.
I fucking love that. One of my other favorite ones was I had a theory because I always get pulled over, but I never get a ticket ever. My theory is, oh, there's a brown guy, let's pull him over. And then they talk to me and they're like, oh, he's white as hell, let's leave him go. And for a while I was saying that. I was like, they just think I'm white because of my voice and the way I talk. And then finally, I get a ticket coming back from Denver, and the ticket literally, I still have it. It's still in like my travel memories and shit. It says racial code white. Just from another, oh, hey, we're here. We pulled you over. You were speeding, but we're going to let you go. I never get a ticket. So fucking weird. And then the last one I'll leave you with, just to rib my boy Alex Brady. He came back from retirement. I've been taking him on the road with me just to kind of show him what he's been missing. And we do a lucha show on Sunday. There's like a bunch of lucha names on there from CMLL and AAA. And we have a guy in a clown mask with green hair. And I feel bad for not knowing who he is, but he's somebody. And he's going around and he's shaking everyone's hands. And he goes up to my boy Alex, shakes his hand. And Alex, because he's a smart ass, goes, oh, hey, Tina Turner.
Oh, shit.
And I'm like, oh, no. It was fucking great. Oh, he felt so bad, too, because he was just trying to make friends and shit. I am giving him so much shit. That's why I have to mention it on the podcast. So he knows that I'm never going to forget it.
And down in Mexico, definitely not the same humor. That's for sure.
Oh no, definitely not. Well, he had a mask on he thought he was just one of the American boys.
Well, thank you so much for sharing those stories. We love those. We absolutely do. Because, when we're at the shows and stuff and we buy the merchandise and we hang out and the talent can give us a couple minutes of their time while they're at the shows, we don't get to hear stuff like that. So when I get to have the talent on Stirring the Pot, I really like to maybe pull some of that stuff out because I just get a gas out of that stuff, man, because awesome. You never know. You never know what the hell you're going to hear, Princess Deathwish, you are a joy. We had a fine conversation, and I want to thank Mr. Baker for bringing you in on the STP 6K and having you part of that. We would have never met, and this was amazing, and I'm so glad that I reached out and said, hey, man, why don't we do an interview? You seem like we would have a lot of fun, and you're like, I'm fucking down, man.
I was ready.
Yeah, so I do appreciate all of this. Meeting you. Obviously, we haven't met in person. I'm sure that'll happen sooner than later because you are a traveling man, if you will. You do the drives and the flies and all of that stuff. So.
East and West right now, so that's great.
Yeah, so I am sure that we'll catch each other live. And I really wish that Thursday nights, it wasn't after work because I used to go to Thursday Night Throwdown for like 6 months straight. I would take a 2-hour drive after work with my dad.
Oh my gosh, that's dedication.
Yeah, and we did that for a couple months. And not only that, they would do the bigger shows on Saturdays, probably every 6 to 8 weeks or so. And we were doing those too, along with the other shows. We were doing like 15 shows a month, me and the old man.
Right.
So we were really, really on the road. We were doing the drives, if you will.
We were doing the drives. I think that's fantastic.
But yeah, I wouldn't change a minute of it. But I wish they were not on a work night because I do love the XWA and the throwdowns, the whole vibe and all of that. But it was absolute pleasure meeting you. I cannot thank you enough for spending the time talking to us, the fans, on Stirring the Pot because I would have never known about Princess Deathwish if it was not for our mutual friend, Mr. Baker. So I applaud both of you for being so creative and just being really cool guys, giving us the time to talk to us. It means the world to me. I do appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you for having me. And I'll send you all my links so everyone could just click one link and find me wherever they want to find me.
Absolutely, because if we run them down, we might run another hour. He's got a lot of links going on.
Yeah, no,
So
just
what
it's on my social medias, my YouTube, and my pro wrestling link is in there. So
I
gotta push
got you.
that.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to. I'm kind of curious to see what Princess Deathwish has for merch. To be honest with you, that's got to be some kooky shit.
Yeah, there's some good shit in there.
With all of that being said, what a fine conversation we had with our new friend Princess Deathwish. Couldn't have asked for a better conversation from somebody that we've never met. This was simply amazing. I almost want to entitle this episode "Get the Fuck Out of Here," but that's not what I want to.
Get the fuck out and the fucking call. My new shirt says "Today is a good day to die." You can also use that.
Oh wow! Today's a good day to die.
Today is a good day to die.
But you know what? I find that message. I find that message heartfelt. I like to see my. I love to see my friends.
I love to see my friends win. I do.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna.
Even if we're not cool anymore, I still like seeing them win.
This is Cernapop with Don Kincaid and my very special guest, Princess Deathwish. Thank you so much.
And the fucking call, Don. Just fucking press the red button.
Okay.
Fuck off the Skype call.